G'day there, it's George again. So here I am in Siem Reap, and at this time it's just a few days to having been here pretty much a full month. How time has flown and how much has happened during this previous month. I just don't even know where to begin. So what will follow as a visual background is our drive from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap with a private taxi, and maybe some other additional clips from here in Siem Reap to end it. And during that time I'll be giving my thoughts and perspectives and feelings about how this amazing, absolutely amazing 4 weeks has gone. And hopefully there's something in there that will get you to think also about changing your life and or shaking things up, let's just say, to make sure you're getting the absolute maximum out of this gift that we've been given, which is life. So enough with the metaphysical crap. Let's get on with the video. Enjoy the chaos. I think someone said a chaotic ballet of the traffic as we worked our way from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap, and enjoy any of the additional clips at the end. All right, so I'll just get myself up here. You can see that I'm actually in the Royal Independence Gardens of Siem Reap. There's a little box there. I think you can rent books or just take them and swap books, sorry. And here you can see one of the sort of more tranquil parts of Siem Reap. There is also the Botanical Gardens where I'm going to do some footage from, and then another one called Green Park, I think, which is also a wide open space of nature and so forth that you can get around and enjoy. But outside of this, Siem Reap is just full on, just always on the go, and that's one of the most amazing things about it, but also in some ways one of the things that's going to take a lot of getting used to. But I'm here in Cambodia to learn and to evolve, and that's exactly what we're going to do. All right, check you later at the end of the video. Bye. Alrighty, well, given this video starts with the drive from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap, as you can see, the traffic is pretty wild, and that was my first impression of Cambodia. Pretty much once we got out of the airport, it was just inside traffic, just darting in every which way. And less so here in Siem Reap, but still, the taxi ride from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap was an adventure in itself, but otherwise an amazing trip, as you can see, with all the weather conditions that'll come up in the space of about 5 or 6 hours. Just absolutely fantastic. But yeah, so I've been in India before, and there I would say that the traffic is just chaos, absolute chaos, honking horns for absolutely no reason. And while the traffic in Cambodia is on the wilder side compared to where I come from anyway, it's kind of what actually one school teacher said to me, who I talked to last week, that it's chaotic ballet. And that's kind of the feeling that I got, that everything flows. You just show your intention, you act upon it with courtesy, and everyone just flows around you like you flow around them. And it just works. And that probably leads me on to the second perspective, which is, if you come here with your old mindset and try to retain it, it's not going to work. It's just simply not going to work. This culture has been here for so long, and it knows what it's doing. And what I mean by that, in the sense of service for people and caring for others and paying attention to others and being respectful to others. That's the vibe that I get here, and it's not the vibe that I've gotten in Western countries. Some more, some less, but nothing compared to what it's like here. And I'd also lived and worked in Thailand for a short time back in the late 90s, and I felt that there also as a more Southeast Asian thing related to Buddhism, but I haven't felt it to the level that I felt it here in the first 4 weeks. It's pretty amazing, and this is just barely getting started. But yeah, there's no point coming here and try and enforce your old mindsets, because that's exactly the reason to come to a place like this, is to let go of that and connect with something much, much deeper and richer. So, few situations frustrated me from the time we arrived up until now, but they've been just a handful. And even if I look back at the way that I reacted in those situations, I could have still been a little bit calmer, because at the end of the day, no one got hurt. No one intended to hurt anybody. It was just misunderstanding or just a different of an opinion. But no one was in the right or wrong, so to speak. It just depends on the perspective. But at the end of those, everything ended up fine. Namaste. Thank you, Akul. And we went about our day and wished each other well. So that's what I'm learning, because in my past I've been way, way too fast to judge and very abrupt. And obviously that kind of head-butting mentality doesn't get anybody, except the people involved, a massive headache. So one of the reasons that I did already mention in my previous video from Phnom Penh about the reasons to be here in Cambodia, and it's to understand and learn about the culture and to cultivate connection. You know, to start caring about things on a much deeper level than I've previously been exposed to, because I know the way that the world is going right now, it's just becoming very much like an accounting exercise. Production, income, expenditure, and the units of production, or the vehicles even, are human beings. And that's something that I'm just 100% obviously opposed to. Doesn't mean we don't use technology, but it can't be at the sake of our humanity. And coming to Cambodia feels like coming back in time. And just almost like finding an oasis, a moral oasis in a sense, or one that has beliefs and traditions, and it cares. And it doesn't just care about themselves, they care about the people who come here for the right reasons. And what an awesome segue that is now to the third perspective. From my time here meeting expats, some just newly arrived like myself, and others who've been here for many, many years, and also what I've seen just walking down the streets, particularly in the more touristic areas, let me just say that. And in a general sense, just like I think the whole of society in a way is designed, that we have tendency towards different kinds of mindsets. And the three key mindsets that I've come across here already. Let's just start with maybe the ones in the middle. Essentially, I see this group as just being generally happy and content, and perhaps they were so in their home country, wherever they came from, and they just found that a change in scenery, change in weather, and also at the cost of living being much lower here, was enough to just move here, but really with no other major purposes or goals in mind, but just maybe just have a nice retirement, continued retirement, or something of that nature. So that is a group I call the middle, and for all intents and purposes, I see them as mostly happy and just getting on to get along, and happy to engage civilly and nicely and so forth. So there's that. Then I'll go to what I consider myself to belong to, which is the explorer group. Now, that doesn't have to mean anything crazy like a Marco Polo level or whatever, but just someone who's maybe had enough of their previous life. And in this case, it would be the Western world, where your bank balance, your title, your status, your reputation, all of those sorts of things are what count as currency. But those societies are getting devoid now of soul and of spirit. And that's precisely the reason that I've gotten out of Finland or Europe as a general thing. I could see where that was going and the rapid rate of acceleration that it is headed in that way, which technology is, being used for. And I think the rate of change is just way too much for the majority of the world's population to handle if they were exposed to it. And the beauty of a place like Cambodia is that, yes, there is technology. You can go and scan a QR code when you pay for your meal at a street stall, with a mobile payment unit, no problem. But there isn't this overriding idea of living in some kind of a digital age. Everyone's still riding around on motorbikes and walking around and pulling things and lifting things and going fishing and preparing food on the street, just very organic, very foundational, very traditional. And that's like one of the biggest differences that I've noticed between Europe and Finland particularly and here. And while, for example, things might not be always, like as tidy as they might be somewhere in Europe or whatever, but I've seen some European cities that are just trashed to the max. Graffiti, dirt, needles, whatever. Piss, shit, all that kind of stuff. So here, relatively speaking, we're just talking about just trash and that kind of thing, but nothing more sinister, let's just say. But of course, that situation could be a lot better. But going back to the group that I'm talking about, the explorers, and it could be young, could be middle-aged, could be old, is to see something new, see something deeper, to explore that which is yet to be seen, but it's believed in, or you've heard that it exists and there's something about it that attracts you to it. So the drive to still keep evolving while we're in this human form, rather than just more passively just having it as a read-through, quick read-through. Yeah, I believe life should be about discovery, learning, discovery, experiences, but for the right reasons. And the people that I've met already who are, as far as I can tell, and people can be deceiving, and a few people, let's just say, they appear to be a bit different in one forum than in another, and I'll just leave it at that. But for the most part, the people that I've met here have been super genuine, as in the expats, and very open to talk about their life stories, share their experiences, how they ended up choosing Cambodia, and I'm starting to see a pattern. But I think I'll address that in some future video. Give it more time to simmer, that thought. Yeah, so, but then, what's that third group? And I'm not saying these groups are also equally sized, by the way, but very noticeable, let's just say. And the third group, it seems to me, those lost souls who, and I don't mean that in any bad way, but just lost souls because there's a general lack of purpose or meaning in their lives. And again, I'm not saying that because they deserved it. I'm not saying that because they wanted it, but that is where they're in, as far as I can tell. And some of them are even hell-bent on like extinguishing their life force, let's just say, in the hardest, fastest possible ways, basically through human decadence. And to me, that is probably one of the saddest things that I can see in any human, when it's almost like there's been, I don't know, it's almost like there's been a complete extinguishing of their spirit, and they just become shells and given up 100%. There's no belief anymore. And that's a hard thing to see in a human being. And my role as a coach, in the many aspects that I do coaching, but in this one in particular, is to help people rediscover their purpose, and not to lose faith and to have their hope extinguished. But yeah, so there's the three general groups that I've noticed in the expat community, at least since having been here in Siem Reap. Now, there's a final perspective, and I have just so many more to give, but for this video, let this be the final one. There's so much that could be talked about, things like how money works, payment methods, dealing with your bank, trying to find an apartment, negotiating leases, renting a motorbike, whatever it may be. And a lot of other people are making videos about that, and that's really not my area of interest whatsoever. My focus, as I mentioned in my first days in Phnom Penh video, was that I'm here to learn and evolve and connect and see and experience and feel what makes people happy. And so the final thing that I'll leave you with is what is unfolding for myself, and in just the most rapid amount of time that it sometimes actually feels pretty overwhelming, but in the best possible way. But almost in a way where I'm kind of thinking, why didn't I do this earlier? But there are many reasons for why it happened now. So I just feel blessed that it is happening right now, and I'm here. And hopefully that message resonates with others as well. And ultimately what I'm talking about here is it's opening up, it's breaking open, it's freeing that which you are to experience everything that you find attractive, find interesting, find magnetic above all. And I don't mean that in any kind of crude way. I mean just simply an absolute love of creation, of everything. It's literally like some kind of cosmic entertainment, to go a little bit metaphysical there, but there's just so much magic around us, and the way that we've become programmed to live is like with blinkers on. Focus on that, do that, and that will make you a good citizen. That'll make you high status. That'll give you all the property you want to show just how high status you are, and you'll have the model family, and you'll have the model life and career, and circle of friends, and then you'll have that amazing retirement party, and then you'll be happy. Yeah, that's the programming, but that isn't what this is all about. And in the space of this 1 month, the biggest lesson that I've learned now is beyond even patience, which is obviously needed to exercise this, but is surrender. Be open to absorb the good, the bad, the ugly, because ultimately it's all wonderful. And just play your role in it with care, with love, with connection for others, and everything will turn out just fine. And with patience, as I mentioned, if you've got yourself going in the right direction, then all you need is time. That destination is waiting, but the journey is even more wonderful if you just make it so. And there's some quote, I'm not going to probably get it absolutely right, but it's like, and one of the reasons why I do hiking and caminos and bike touring and so forth, long, arduous endurance, solo quests, which I will also be doing here in Cambodia. You just wait and see. That's, for me, where it's at. Dynamic meditation, in addition to knowing how to be completely still. But when you can be completely still in spirit, it doesn't matter what the body's doing. But with endurance, you can get into the most hypnotic of meditational states, as I've experienced during the Camino de Santiago, which I did in June. And the emotional break open points that occurred 3 times at different points of that 800 or so kilometer journey. And that'll be addressed in my videos about that then, when I get the time. But if you get yourself going in the right direction, you have your purpose mostly clear, and it can waver and so forth. You need to recalibrate every so often. It's just wisdom to do that. Listen to what other people are saying, listen to yourself, and make adjustments if you need. But that'll save needing to make drastic change, painful change at a later time if you don't recalibrate your course on a regular basis. But once you have your direction straight, then it's just a matter of time. And if some days you'll feel like taking 10 steps, another day 1 step, another day 100 steps. But at least if you can attempt to make 1 step a day, then you're further along with your journey. And that's when patience kicks in. And the saying, as I was alluding to, is that everything is within walking distance if we have the time. So that's what I'll leave you with now. There's a quick summary of my first month here in Cambodia, and not from one of those logistical, go and check this out and don't go see that, or this is expensive and this is cheap and this is how to do this and this is how to do that type of video. I really wanted to approach this more from a feeling aspect, from an emotional aspect, where I'm telling you how it actually feels to be here. And while it's challenging, don't get me wrong, and sometimes very stressful, but I just 100% know that I'm exactly in the right place, exactly where I'm supposed to be. And every day, each day as I go forward, I'm learning to better surrender myself to this heart-opening experience, because that's ultimately what it's all about. It's opening your heart, expanding it, and filling everything around you and yourself with love and with care. That's it. There's the formula, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, for what it's worth. All right, thank you, and catch you again in a later video. Ciao. All right, welcome back. How was the drive? And hopefully the few views I put in from Siem Reap also might entice you too to come to this absolutely amazing place. I really love it here. Sure, there's been challenges, but nothing that couldn't be overcome just with a little bit of thinking and compassion and patience, absolutely. But yeah, it's I came here to learn, I came here to evolve, and that's already happening, and the rate at which it's exponentially like increasing, which is just blowing my mind right now. I've had some pretty amazing trips and journeys in the past in different countries, but nothing like the energy that exists in this place. We'll get to that in some future video about what I mean by that, but wow, it's been an amazing time. So again, hope you enjoyed my perspectives and thoughts on what it's been like here for the first month, and from this point on I'll be I guess making videos a lot, showcasing this area, the various sort of tranquil areas like the Independence Park here and the Botanical Gardens and so on, and also eventually I'm going to make my way out to the very famous Angkor Wat. And it's kind of crazy because that's like, I would say, the number one attraction in Cambodia, and I'm here because of that, and yet I've yet to see it. And I think I'll just close off this video, which will explain this point I think best going forward, about how my approach is going to be, or is already, is that when it's the right time, I feel like a place like Angkor Wat, for how many thousands of years old it is, to do with the foundation in Buddhism and Hinduism and the amazing things it has to teach. I don't want to take that as a tourist. I don't want to take it flippantly, and I want to do it respectfully and honorably. So here I am in Siem Reap, Cambodia. The first part of the dream has come true, which is to be able to actually get here. And now phase 2, I guess, let's call it that, or the rest of my life, we'll see, starts now, or has just started. So thank you for those who have been following already from the beginning. I'm not a big channel and I don't do it for monetization. This is just really to document one person's evolution, and also because I have an 18-year-old daughter, you know, and I want her to be proud of her dad. So that's why I keep learning, that's why I keep evolving, and just try to be just that little bit better, more connected, more compassionate, more patient. And that's the key, patience. That all good things will come in time, as the cliche saying goes. So as long as the direction is correct, and every day you take even one step in that direction, you know, it's all going to work out in time. So how's that for a finish to a video? It's quite different to what I usually do. I don't usually like to myself be on camera so much, but through some guidance from friends of mine, they said that if you want to connect with your audience, whoever that may be, and however many or little that may be, then there needs to be the connection. So C for connection, C for Cambodia. All right, cheers, and catch you later. George out.